Hi, I'm Debbie. Thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about balance. Balance is something you hear that affects the elderly. That's not always true. As a personal trainer, I've trained people in their teens all the way up into their 80s, and even people who have just graduated from high school come to me and say they have no balance. Well, that's not actually the truth. It's not that we have no balance. It's that we're not using our balance receptors in the brain. So as we start to do balance activities again, our balance does get better. I've taught my own balance classes for over 15 years. They're a little more advanced material, but I'm also certified in a national program that helps to teach anyone age 65 and older different exercises they can do to improve their balance. The main thing is we have to do these exercises. It's not about our age. If you're 21 years old and you're no longer an athlete, you're probably not doing balance activities. I've had a 21-year-old come to me and say that she has no balance. Within 3 weeks, we had her back doing everything she used to do. It's about repetition. It's about not stopping doing balance activities. So I'm going to show you a few activities, starting out with the easiest ones, and then we're going to build up to even some advanced things that people can do. So one of the first things that you want to think about, grab onto something that is chair height. A kitchen countertop does the same thing. Of course, you don't want to use a rocking chair, something that moves. You don't want a chair on wheels, something nice, sturdy, and stable. And all we're going to do is we're going to place a hand on there, and you're simply going to pick up one leg. Now, if you feel like you have your balance when you do this, you go to 2 fingers on the chair. After 2 fingers, if you feel like you still have good balance, you can take both hands up. Practicing this on a daily basis, your balance will begin to get better. Now, one of the things you need to think about before you stand on one leg is, where is my foot placement? You want to make sure that you have all toes spread out in your shoe, and you want to make sure that you have sturdy, stable shoes on, nothing that's going to slip or slide. Spreading the toes out helps the balance. I used to teach ballet years ago, and I would tell all of my kids, all 10 piggies on the floor, so they don't roll up the big toe or roll up the pinky toe. That's going to help your balance. Balance also comes from the core. So right here is our center of balance. People think it's all about their legs, and it's not. If we don't have a strong core, our balance isn't going to be good either. So whenever you're doing these balance activities, you want to lift up through the core. That means rib cage lifted. Normally when I tell people to lift up, shoulders come up to ears. You want to make sure those shoulders don't raise up. It's the core that lifts, shoulders stay down. We also pick up a lot of bad posture habits through the years, and our shoulders round. Whenever you're doing these exercises, squeeze the shoulder blades together. The back of the body, tighten the shoulder blades. Pull the shoulders back, keep them down out of the ears. So we're just going to place our hand on the chair, and after you get used to doing the lifting of one leg at a time, then you start adding movement. If we slip, we trip, we go to fall, we're not going to do it with just a knee placed in the air. We're going to be kind of sprawled out, flying everywhere. So once you get used to this, then you add movement. So you extend the leg forward, take the leg back, bring the knee back up, raise an arm out to the side. If you feel like you're really stable, raise both arms out to the side. So you can keep progressing with the balance activities. Now, you might be somebody that says, but I can't stand and do that. My fear of falling, or I don't have good enough balance. Well, I've got something you can do as well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to turn the chair around, and I'm going to have a seat in the chair. From this seated position, we can still do balance activities. The main thing is, when we sit down in a chair in our day-to-day life, we want to scoot all the way to the back, and immediately we slump in the chair. We're not holding our own posture. So I'm going to ask you, when you do this, to scoot out to the edge of the seat. Again, make sure that you're on a sturdy, stable chair, nothing that's going to move. Hips, straight out our knees, straight down our ankles, straight forward our toes. So that's where you want your position to be. And again, we're lifting through the core, our center of balance. So rib cage raises, shoulder blades are back, shoulders are down, and you're simply going to take one leg and raise it in the air. That takes balance. It takes balance because I'm not letting my core go. I'm not slouching down in the seat. I'm not leaning to one side or another. So if you're somebody that can't stand, but you want to do balance activities, you can do them from a seated position. All day long, whether you're in the office, whether you're in a meeting, whether you're at the movies, whether you're driving in your car, sitting in a pew at church, you can practice these activities. Instead of being all the way back here, slumped down nice and comfy, scoot out for a minute. Sit up tall, use that core. Just lifting up like this is a core exercise. Core means abdomen and back. So we're strengthening all of that just by holding ourselves up. We don't always have to get down on the floor and do 100 crunches. Those help, but in times in our day-to-day life, we can simply do this and we're strengthening our core. Remember, that is all about balance. Now, for somebody who's more advanced, I run a bodybuilding gym. So these exercises are going to seem just a little out of touch for the guys in there and the girls that are in there. So I'm going to show you some stuff they can do to also help their balance. I'm going to stand back up. And let's say you have dumbbells and all we're doing is bicep curls. Well, try doing the bicep curls by holding one leg in the air. So you're lifting that leg and then you do your sets of curls. You can switch to do your tricep extensions. So anything that we do in the gym, start practicing it and see if you can do it on one leg rather than standing on both. Some of these guys are big, they've put the time in the gym, but if I ask them to stand on one leg, they can't do that. So practice doing your exercises standing on one leg. Remember, the core is the center of balance, shoulder blades drawn back, shoulders down. Getting a focal point is key also. You don't want to make your focal point on something that's going to move. So it can't be a fly on the wall. It can't be a person across the gym. It needs to be something that is going to be stable for you, something that's not going to move. Keep your focus on that while you're trying to do the exercises and see how stable you can become. Now we've touched on balance and fitness. Now what about balance in your life? You know, we get so busy in our day-to-day lives that sometimes we don't have balance. And sometimes it seems a little selfish to put ourselves first, but when we don't put ourselves first, nobody else gets the best of us. So we need to create balance in our lives as well. We need to take time for us. That can mean going to the gym. That can mean sitting out on your deck and just taking in the sunshine. It can mean reading a book. Cold weather, go somewhere where you can sit by water. Sit in your car and read a book. We've got to take time for us so that we have balance. We let everything else take control over our life. Without balance, without meditation time, without me time, everything else controls our lives. Remember, everything that you see today, you actually created yesterday by your thoughts, by your feelings. If you keep reflecting on those things, you'll have more tomorrows just like today. If you want tomorrow to be different, then you've got to be different. You've got to take the time for you, but you've got to change the way you see things. That's not going to come in a hurried life schedule. You've got to find balance and take time for you. Thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. Until the next time, remember, all of your power is in now.